So the testimony of the Spirit that assures us that we are children of God is the work of the Spirit that makes us listen to the gospel submissively and confess the Christ of the gospel heartily. But there's a great assumption of this text. The point of chapter 4, 1 through 6 is not merely to give us a doctrinal test for discerning false prophets. If it was, then verse 2 would say, by this we know the Spirit of God. It would not say, by this we know the Spirit of God. Instead, it would say, by this we know the Spirit of Antichrist. This is the testimony. This is the testimony. This is the testimony. The point of the verse is not merely to give a doctrinal test to recognize false spirits, even though it does. The point of the test is also to recognize the true spirit. As we all know and all have heard, and Belia can testify to this probably, how do you know a counterfeit? You need to know what the true one is. And you feel that one, hear that one, do that one over and over again. Once you have that, it doesn't matter the false ones. They're easy because you know what the true one is. And therefore the test must be more than doctrinal, because true doctrine by itself is no sure sign of the work of the Spirit. Anybody can say true doctrine with their lips, but only the Spirit can make sinners really listen and really confess to the truth of Jesus Christ. So the great lesson that lies just beneath the surface in this text is, listen to this, none of us will listen to the message of Christ unless the mighty Holy Spirit overcomes our resistance and gives us ears to hear. Amen. None of us would do it. None of us would submit to listening to the truth. None of us would confess the truth apart from the power of the Holy Spirit. None of us will confess from the heart that Jesus Christ had come in the flesh unless the mighty Holy Spirit humbles us to accept the authority of Jesus implied in that confession. John's great assumption lying beneath verse 2 and 6 is hearing the gospel with openness and confessing Christ with loyalty is the work and the gift of the Holy Spirit. It's not of us. If this listening and this confessing could be explained in any other way, then this would be a sure sign of the presence of the Holy Spirit. But they are a sign of His power. For John knows that no one hears and no one confesses apart from the sovereign work of the Holy Spirit. And this great assumption is made explicit in one place where it comes out from beneath the surface and smacks us across the face. In verse 4, it shows itself clearly for all to see. And the reason John let it be so clear is to encourage and humble us as little children. Little children, you are of God, and have overcome them. For he who is within you, who is in you, is greater than he who is in the world. Amen. The Christian to which John is writing have overcome and conquered the false prophets. They have conquered them, and that they have not been swept away by their deceptions. The prophets had attacked with their defective views of Christ, and the Christians had stood firm. What were some views that were coming out at this time? The Gnostic views that Christ did not really come, that it wasn't a fleshly body, that He was just a spirit. They had not yielded. They had conquered. They had remained orthodox and loyal to the Son of God incarnate, the man Jesus Christ. I used to, when I was young, high school, I used to get scared when I'd be by myself at the house. I don't know, maybe you do too. But it'd be dark outside. You'd hear. So I used to get scared, and I thought, I remember a verse. He who is within me is greater than he who is within the world. And I used to hold on to that verse strongly when I was younger. I should today too, but I love the verse because it reminded me that God is in control. And God is within me. No matter what comes my way, He's stronger than what's coming after me. If there was. If there was a tree branch. To the point that I put on my letter jacket. Letter jackets do so. And there'd be a line underneath it. I put 1 John 4:4. Because he who is within me is greater than he who is within the world. I like that verse a lot. How? Messed it up. Can you click it once for me? Once for me. There you go. I broke it. I knew I did. Oh, there we go. I got it back. Yay. How did they conquer? The foe was not merely human, but Satan himself, the god of this age, empowered the false prophets. And he is extraordinarily subtle and deceptive. How did they conquer? Not by their great intelligence, not by their strength, not because they were so savvy. What do we read in, I believe, Revelation? It continued on. Even the elect would be deceived if that was possible. Satan is a great deceiver. Why are we not deceived? Why do we not fall prey? Because we're smart? Because we're good? No. Because of the Holy Spirit that resides in us. Amen. These people were not great. They were great. But they were not great in intelligence or strength. What's John called them? Little children. Little children. John says that they conquered because he who is in them is greater than he who is in the world. In other words, they conquered by the power of the Holy Spirit. So the great assumption in verse 2 and 6 is made explicit. The Holy Spirit is more powerful than the satanic forces of deception and blindness. I am afraid that in Christian churches today, we have given Satan too much credit. Amen. We have given him too much credit. We act like it's a fight between God and Satan. A struggle that God just finally overcomes at the end. No, it is not like that. God tells Satan, you can come this far but no further. It's not like Satan goes, I got you, God. We give too much credit to Satan. Dad and I had gone to a conference one time, and we were standing in front of a couple. Poor couple. Nice people, I'm sure. They were pastors of a church. And they said things like this. Oh, yes, God is doing mighty works in our lives. He's great, but we have dumb sheep. We're smart, but they're dumb sheep. And I thought, wow. You know, they kept talking about dumb sheep. And I'm thinking, you're one of them. So are we. We're all dumb sheep. But what amazed me was the credit they gave to Satan. Yes, as I have done mighty works for God, Satan has increased his attacks on me. Thus to the point that I'm not, I have to just stand firm. Maybe God's allowing Satan to do attacks because of mighty, not because of all the great things you have done for God. Does God allow Satan to come into our lives and do things? Yes, he does. For two reasons, and we talk about it, and we'll talk about when we get back to the Gospel of John. To discipline us, and to prune us. Those are the two reasons God will allow Satan to come into our life. Like Job. It was to prune him, not to discipline him. But that's up for debate, I guess. But I think we give too much credit to Satan. Who is greater in this world? Can Satan do one thing apart from God giving him permission? No, he cannot. Finally, I want to conclude with a lesson for believers and a lesson for unbelievers. That's interesting. It's backwards in my notes. Lesson for unbelievers. Oh, okay. That's why it's backwards. Nope, that's right. Okay, it's still okay. Someone moved a slide on me one day for fixing my name. Lori's been sweet. She has been really sweet because she said, Chris, do you mind if I look through your slides? Because you have a tendency to say there for there or there. Amen. Or patience for patience and able for able. These kind of things tend to be in there. So she was very sweet and went through last night and corrected a bunch of things in there and moved a slide. I think. Possibly.
I really believe that was the original order.
You think? Okay. I'm with you there, Lori. I think it was too. Second of all, for unbelievers. Then we'll get to first of all. For unbelievers, the lesson is seek the power of the Holy Spirit. Admit, without Him, your ears will stay shut. Your heart will remain hard, and you will not confess Jesus has come in the flesh. We must, if you're an unbeliever, you must submit and realize it is not you. Pray that the Spirit of God will open up your eyes and take away the hardness of your heart, and ask Him to put within you the joyful confession that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, your Savior, and your Lord. Amen. First of all, the lesson for believers. For the believers, the lesson is twofold. First of all, do not take credit for your listening ear, or your confessing heart, or your correct view of Christ. Why do we have that? Because of the power of the Holy Spirit. Give the credit to the Spirit who is in you. Give the glory to God. And when you are threatened by any deception of the evil one, any temptation, or any discouragement, or any anxiety or cowardice, remind yourself that He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Amen. Almighty God abides within you. Trust in Him, not in your own strength. This morning we saw how you can test the spirits. Not just to see if it is a false teacher, but who is truly God. We saw if someone is truly led by the Spirit of God, by what they say, how they live, how they listen. We saw that you can not just say the right things and listen to the right things, but the Holy Spirit must be living inside you. We saw how the Holy Spirit is greater than all the false teachers. Oh, there we go. All those false teachers. And how He resides in us and protects us. We wrapped up with a lesson for believers and unbelievers. Do not take credit for your listening, confessing, or correct views of Christ. When you are threatened, remind yourself who is greater in this. And for unbelievers, submit yourself to God through the power of